Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Asa coming to you once again, and I want to go into more detail on the post I posted yesterday. And yesterday I put a post that said, as a wholesale investor, you buy it like this and control it with a contract, and you sell it like this, selling the contract. And I said, should I do a live video explaining how this process works? Okay, here's the post. You buy it like this, and you sell it like this. All right, so what I want to do is go over the wholesale flow process to give you a little more understanding on what that means and how to get that done. All right, so I'm going to toggle to another screen and hopefully it will record. But here is the wholesale process. All right, and we're going to talk about how to go through this process. First thing you do is get a property, find it. Right, one of the 5 steps from the other day. You get the property under contract. Once you get it under contract, you get it under contract in your name, preferably your company name as the buyer, and it's and or assigns, meaning you can buy it or you can assign the interest in the contract to another buyer. You don't have to copy this down, guys. I can send this page to you. This is actually in a book that I'm working on called The Only Real Estate Investor Tool You Will Ever Need, that I am finalizing and going to be putting out. But this is the wholesale section. All right. Once you get the property under contract, you own that property. Correction. You control that property. Controlling it and owning it is equally good. Right? The wealthy understand this better than any poor middle class person. The wealthy understand the importance of controlling things instead of owning them. The wealthy would prefer to control something versus owning it. And we want to get that in your mind. And so it's a paradigm shift that you're going to be going through as you work through this wholesale process and just begin understanding business and the business mindset. All right. So we're in Chicago. You could be in California, Nevada, Utah, Connecticut, wherever you are. There are different ways to close a property out. Some jurisdictions use a title company. That's what we use here in Chicago. Others use attorneys to facilitate the same process. Here we use a title company. So once you get the property under contract, you want to take that contract and submit it to the title company to begin the process for closing, or an attorney. All right, so we're going to say submit it to the title company. Once they have it, they now can start opening up in a file to close this property out. They will know that you have the property under contract, and based on the way you writ it, the way you wrote it out, and or assigns, they know that you may assign it to someone in the future, and it could be to your company or to another company. All right, so once you get the property under contract, you then do these things here. Call the I buy investors. All right. There's a whole process to go through on building your database of buyers that are suitable, qualified buyers with the money to buy. I'll go through that at a later time. Call your I buy investors. Now, this says run ads in newspapers. It's a good way to do it because a lot of old school investors that are cash buyers really aren't up on the social media tools that we like to use on a regular basis. So you can run ads in newspapers, or you can actually run an ad on Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, whatever. Run an ad so that people know that you have this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, or this 2-flat that is available for sale in this area. All right, so you want to run an ad on the property. And then I'll also, in another section, show how you market this property so that investors or buyers that do call are qualified, right? So it's a whole process to show exactly how much work is needed, the estimated amount of work is needed, permits, and all that stuff. You get all that together so that when your phone rings, it is from someone who saw the scope of work that needs to be done on this property and is ready and able to close. It's not just someone looking and inquiring. This is someone that actually knows the deal and ready to go. All right, so you create a flyer. The next step, create a flyer for your real estate investor meeting or for your meetup, or from your own investment group or other investment groups that you are aware of. Create a flyer which is similar to the ad so that they know that the property is available and they can go look at it, start running their numbers. What I love to do are these last two things. Place a sign in the yard if it's vacant. Now, this allows more eyes to get on the property. People driving by, when you place the sign in the yard and you cap the front using streamers. To do these things so that now people are aware that this property is for sale and it's being marketed by you because your name and or number is on the sign. All right. And that's great for passing out the flyers to the local churches in the area, attorneys in the area, schools in the area. So there's many ways of marketing the property offline that are equally as successful as marketing the property online. All right. So next, once you do these things, did you find a buyer? All right. Hopefully, yes. If yes, then you did everything properly. And I'm going to go through those steps so that you understand how to properly lay out the steps so that when you do these things, you get a property under contract and you market that property, you're going to find a buyer. So in this situation, we say, did you find a buyer? Yes. So then you move over here. All right. We're not going to talk about this right now. If the profit is over $7,000, you want to do a double close. The reason why you want to do that is because you want to mask the amount of profit that you are making. Typically a rehabber, if he's going to make $20,000 on the rehab and he sees you're going to make $7,000 on the flip, sometimes people count your money. And if he or she is counting your money, they may not want to do the deal based on the amount of money you're going to make instantly. Right? So if it's more than $7,000, more than $5,000 really, sometimes you want to do a double close. And other investors, if you develop the relationship properly, won't care because it still fits and meets their investment parameters. So it's all important on how you build a relationship with your buyers. And it's a specific process for that that's really cool. All right, so you found your buyer and now you want to assign it. Right? You just assign it over to them, right? It's an assignment form where you're saying, I'm assigning my right in this property at this address to this investor. The amount of money that I'm getting for this assignment is $5,000. I'm getting $3,000 upfront and $2,000 at closing or something of that language. And I'm not going to go into detail on that, but you have to get something now that is significant to assign it to this investor, because if you assign it to them and they don't pay you until it closes, you may not close and you'll be out of all the time, effort, and energy that you spent on finding the property and marketing the property. All right. So when you assign it, there's a little process to make sure you guys get paid. That's pretty cool. All right. So what happens if you don't find a buyer? Well, you didn't do some things properly, or the negotiated contract price is too much, or it's more work than you estimated, but that's totally fine as well. So here's one thing. Are you willing to purchase the property yourself? Well, in the beginning, no, because you don't have the expertise and knowledge and power team to rehab the property yourself. So, but if you did, you just use hard money and you buy it yourself and you do the work and you make the lion's share of the profit. All right. If you're not willing to purchase it yourself, here it is. You move on, you back out, or you renegotiate. Typically, you want to always renegotiate the deal. The reason being is because you put all this effort and energy into this deal. You might as well get paid something versus nothing. And the reason why you're going to be able to renegotiate is because the property owner has mentally and emotionally spent the money. They don't want you to back out. They don't want you to back out more than you don't want to back out yourself. So you just renegotiate that. So if you got it under contract for $220,000, you just renegotiate based on what your buyers are saying. Maybe some of your buyers say, hey, I can buy this property for $215,000 or I can buy for $200,000. Now you know you have to renegotiate for anything less than what they said they want to buy. So let's say they want to buy it for $200,000. Now you go back and renegotiate with the property owner and say, hey, I can't do this for anything above $197,000. So now you have $3,000 wholesale assignment fee. or you say I can do it for $190, and then you make $5,000 and you give a $5,000 bonus to your buyer. All right. So this is just the process in a nutshell on how to wholesale a property. And I'm actually going to go in a little more detail on that. This is page 47 of my only real estate investor tool that you'll ever need, that will be available in a couple weeks. But I just wanted to go over this because of the post that I put out and the many questions that came up from the comments as well as the private messages. All right, so this is Asa, and I will talk to you soon.